Greetings from downtown Cleveland, Ohio. Today is Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. It is 12:38 p.m. I can see Cleveland State recently updated their little banners down Euclid Avenue, like "We are Cleveland State." When I say updated, I mean updated it for their new logo and branding. And you can also see the new location for the Long Ship food truck that Cleveland State has, hours 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's located between the Communications Building and the Law Building. They also have these kind of new, like, little lights set up. Kind of creates a little mood. There's no tables per se, but they have the benches where people could sit down and eat. But today we're going to try to do maybe a 1-hour walk through downtown Cleveland, or portions of downtown Cleveland, for our May 2023 update. Starting with Walnut Wednesdays, which is at Perk Plaza near Reserve Square. I believe that kicked off last week, Wednesday. If it wasn't last week, then it was the week before, but it's definitely been happening at least 1 week. And then it started at 11:30 a.m. today, runs to 1:30 p.m. So we're kind of going to be getting there around the tail end of it. At the corner of East 18th and Euclid right now. The last time I did a downtown Cleveland walk for April, I went down, I think that was the day I went down Prospect to start the video, and walked down Prospect pretty much all the way toward close to Public Square. One difference from the last time I did the video is that all the trees, well, not all of them, of course this one is not like grown in yet, but most of the trees are now bloomed in their greenish colors, which was a contrast from when I was leaving Utah this past week, because they were kind of just starting or in the middle of their spring bloom. So Cleveland's spring bloom was kind of like mid-April, and then it was late April for them. We're also going to try to quickly hit on some construction related stuff in this video. You can see the construction going on at the Connor Palace. I think it's the Connor Palace, and all the other theaters. As they're working on redoing and replacing the awnings and facades. Because of the construction and how it is trying to go through the sidewalks there, I'm going to detour down East 17th Street to get to Chester, and then we'll take Chester to Walnut Wednesday. This is the College of, well, I'll refer to it in my, back when I was a student, how I would always think of it as. This is the Urban Building on the right, well, the backside of the Urban Building, and then just up ahead would be the backside of the College of Business building, with that interlink connecting the two buildings. So this is the backside, so it's not like there's no signage or anything like that. You pretty much have a parking garage on this corner. But technically now you can't quite refer to it as the urban building. I don't know if they have a new name for the building itself, because it was the Maxine Goodman College, or Levin College of Urban Affairs, but when they merged colleges last year in a variety of ways, like now there's the College of Education and Public Affairs, I think it's called. But I don't know what the buildings are called. At least that the business college still remained Montehuja College of Business. We're approaching Chester now. When I was a student, because I was a computer science student, but back then the computer science program was a degree within the College of Business. Present day, it's a degree within the College of Engineering, but like I said, when I was a student, it was in the College of Business, so I would often get off the 55 bus right here because business building's right there, so I would walk down that and then kind of go in the side entrance over there. So that was a very familiar walk for me. Got the popular Hofbrauhaus Cleveland located here. We've got an outdoor dining set up, but I've only dined indoors there about 3 times. The inside is very nicely done. All the decorations and atmosphere. Barbara waves hi. Welcome, Barbara. Linda says, weather looks nice today. Great day for a walk. Yes, indeed. You know what? Now that you mention it, usually I talk about what the temperature is at the start of the video. I think I neglected to do that after I mentioned the time. But it's about 61 degrees Fahrenheit. At the Greyhound building, which with much debate about what to do with it in the future and its architecture. Welcome, allocated brain. Alright. So, next intersection is Chester and East 13th. Now you can see like a group like that coming this direction. Usually you don't see a lot of people walking on Chester. So my guess is that they probably are either working or students near the university area, and probably went to Walnut Wednesdays. Granted, it's just all speculation, but I know from experience on a typical lunch day, even lunch hour, you don't see a lot of foot traffic on Chester down here. This is Reserve Square. If I'm not mistaken, it sounds like a lot of international students who don't have on-campus housing for CSU often seem to try to get housing here at Reserve Square. Walking this area, even though there's not much here, is also pretty familiar for me because let's say I missed back when I was a student, let's say I missed a connection for the 55 bus, or if I looked at the time and saw it was going to be like a 20-minute wait or a 30-minute wait. The 22 bus used to run to East 12th and Superior, so I would get off at East 12th and Superior. Superior's one block to the right, and then I would walk like along Perk Plaza, and then come down this area and just walk to the College of Business. Yeah, one thing I'll be interested to see is just how few food trucks there are at Walnut Wednesdays this year, because I went 2 or 3 times last year to Walnut Wednesdays. There's probably like 3 food trucks here, like 5 food trucks there, and then 4 more along the other street. But when I looked online, I only saw a list of like 5 or 6 total food trucks on the schedule, and right now it looks like everything's concentrated on this corner. So yeah, it seems like half the amount of food trucks as last year. I don't know if that's a decision by whoever organizes Walnut Wednesdays, like they accepted fewer, or if it's just a sign of the times, like it's not worth it for the certain businesses and food trucks. Linda with a curious face on Ohio Savings Bank. Yeah, it says Ohio Savings Bank, but it's New York Community Bank, and actually now it's not even New York Community Bank. I think they were bought out by, I forget the exact name. It was Flagstar or something else recently. You're gonna have a lot of noise here with truck motors. Let's see what they got here. Gourmet fries at Fried. Smoothies on the move. Not much of a wait for that one. Then the Food Depot has traffic. Let's see what's on their menu. Polish boy, chicken wing dinner, chicken wings, catfish dinner. Yeah, so that's good. Pretty surprising how there's very few food trucks in comparison. Last year, you would see food truck, and then on that corner of Walnut, which is why they named it Walnut Wednesdays, you would have like 3 or 4 more food trucks lined up down there, and like this whole area would be filled with tons of people. So whatever people are here are kind of now concentrated on this portion. Welcome Perishable Goods 13. Yeah, initially I was thinking if there was a short line, I would grab a bite from one of these things, but with fewer food trucks, the people that are attending are causing longer lines. Especially over here, you've got Off the Griddle, and then the original Steak and Hoagies. And you've got a little bit of entertainment here, like the Connect 4 or the Putt Putt. So those would be some, I mean, adults could certainly do that too. If I wasn't holding the camera, I'd go up and do a little Putt Putt, but yeah, like I said, there is also one over here, rabbit food. I assume that's vegetarian stuff. Black beans. Yeah, if you do a search on the Poco Traveler channel for about 1 year ago around this time, I think I went to the opening of Walnut Wednesday. The amount of food trucks. Again, it's not a bad thing that there's fewer food trucks. It's just notable to me. On Tuesdays, I'm not sure if they've started it yet. It may be starting next week. But Public Square will feature a couple of food trucks, and they will do that weekly. And then I think on Mondays, near Brown Stadium, that park over there will have some food trucks. I've never been to that event, so maybe one of the Mondays, if I'm doing a downtown Cleveland update, I'll try to stop by there. So this is Chester that we're walking down to get back to East 9th Street. Well, let's try to cross here before the car comes and the light changes. George Gabriel says, remember Walnut Wednesday back in 2018 and 19? Man, the times. And Allocated Brain says, yeah, before the last couple rounds of inflation. There's the construction update on the City Club apartments. I feel like we're getting somewhat close to what the height of that building will be, because that one's not going to be like a skyscraper. I'm trying to remember the renderings. I don't think it was, I knew it was like taller than the City Club building, but I don't think it's gonna go like outrageously higher than that. But we'll see, I could be mistaken. I'm putting more of that little exterior, that's not the final exterior, but whatever you want to call that, as well as the windows. You get a nice view right here of the crane coming down for the City Club apartments and the Sherwin-Williams building in the background. Neutron 9 says, like and subscribe, please. Yes. Thank you for being an advocate. If anyone's watching and hasn't already, feel free to smash that like button or subscribe to the channel. One of the reasons I'm walking this direction is to... Oh, hold on, I got some music playing here. Just muted for a second there to avoid music copyright for YouTube. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the reason I'm walking this direction is there is a 1:10 p.m. start time for today's Cleveland Guardians game. So I figured I would just pass by the stadium for a second before heading toward the Sherwin-Williams building. See what type of crowd there is for a afternoon ball game. I mean, typically there's not big crowds for these type of games, but it's still nice to pass through on a lunch break.
Hey,
Got some outdoor traffic at the Clevelander Bar and Grill. Allocated Brain says 2016 the Cavs parade on East 9th was so jam-packed wall to wall with pedestrians. I know that's one of the things that kills me is that I didn't document any of that on video. And I only took like 3 really crummy pictures at the corner of Euclid and East 9th. It showed you know, people in the crowd, and it showed some people on top of the Healthline bus stops, like they were actually gathered and standing on the bus stop itself. But yeah, back then didn't have the Poco Traveler channel, and even though I videoed some things, for some reason I tried to even put myself back there, like why didn't I do video of that? There you go, you caught the pre-game fireworks. Caffeinated Misfits, welcome. Caffeinated Misfit also says, looks like spring has finally arrived up there. Trees budding. Definitely. Got the greenery vibes. Time of year when I like doing my videos because it looks more lively instead of seeing those dead trees everywhere. So because there's not like an opening day sellout, I'm assuming that we're not going to have an issue with buffering on the video today. Yeah, so you can see if you have a ticket to the game, you're trying to come up right now, you can get right up to the check-in pretty quickly. Yes, it is a nice day for one of these day games. They've done a couple already this year, but it was like 45-degree weather, I think. At least they haven't had any rainouts. Maybe there was one rainout. But like last year, and we'll see, you can still knock on wood. Last year it was ridiculous how many rainouts and doubleheaders there were for the Guardians. The lines actually seem a hair longer out here by the left field gate. On opening day, I also showed if you go up in the parking garage here, through the windows, you can actually catch a pretty decent view of the stadium.
In the series finale, timeout for the starting lineups. First for Detroit, and manager A.J. Hinch leading things off. Zach McKinstry, the second baseman. Bobby Baez at shortstop at second, with Riley Green in center field hitting third. Spencer Corpus on the first baseman. The back cleanup, and Hopkins at third base.
Oh, they put this banner back up. I don't think this was up on opening day. It was up last year for the playoffs. Stand for the land.
Leading things off, Stephen Kwan.
Yeah, back on opening day I showed that if you go inside here and climb this staircase and go up to like the 3rd or 4th level, you can like look over to the stadium.
Rosario bats second, Lilly at shortstop. Hitting third, Jose Ramirez, the designated hitter. Josh Bell at first base will hit cleanup. David Fry, the third baseman, bats fifth. Tyler Freeman at second base will hit sixth. Mike Sedino does the catch.
So the inscribed bricks that have been on this plaza, I know there was headlines about them being removed. You can see this sign here says, for questions regarding the inscribed bricks, please contact the Guardians Fan Services. I didn't read much about like the reason why they're being replaced. I don't know if it's part of a bigger project or what, or just maintenance things. Maybe maintenance, because you can see some of them are, you know, chipped or broken. But I think the article I read said they didn't have when these were installed back in, what was it, like 94 maybe? Or some other year? They didn't have documentation of like who bought the pavers or who they belong to. So it's kind of, I don't know if it's the honor system or what, like to come and just like claim your brick if you want to take it as a souvenir. Otherwise, I don't know what they'll do with the rest of them. It looks like they have most of them covered. The covering just probably blew off of those ones. Although the other ones are tarped up.
Running at its highest efficiency, so get it clean and check today. Starting at just $69.95. Water heater, standard tank.
Now these lines are moving a bit slower, but still going.
One guy that does it all. My pal Sal. Sal's heating, cooling, plumbing, and sewer providing fuel bills and services.
Caffeinated Misfit said that's cool. You can see into the field from there, and also says I haven't been to the new one, but the old Braves Stadium you couldn't see inside until you were inside the park. Yeah, there's a few parks that are, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know like several of the major league parks, when I pass by the outside of them trying to catch a view, you can't really get a good view of them. I think Seattle was one of them. When I was at St. Louis, it was kind of hard to get a view of I mean, you could see like the scoreboard and stuff, but you couldn't really see the field for St. Louis's. You know, come to think of it, I don't think most of the stadiums you really can. Like the New York stadiums, I don't think you could. Those ones we went inside because we actually bought tickets to watch the Cleveland Indians play there. Let's see, where am I going? I guess I'll go back down this street instead. I have to get back to a work meeting that starts at 2 o'clock. That's why I'm trying to be a little bit timely. I never paid attention to notice that the top of that building has the AT&T logo on it. And another thing I haven't noticed is that there is construction going on at the very top. Probably some restoration or maintenance. Last time I did my live stream in April, I believe the Cavaliers were still alive, and it was a 1-1. I think it was a 1-1 series against the New York Knicks, and I was optimistic, like, all right, we're to get things together, and then we just like absolutely were a terrible match for the Knicks. So that was a big letdown. So unfortunately, we only got one playoff series for the basketball. Now it's up to the Guardians to keep the sports vibe going for the next couple months until the Browns start up. Oh, so Caffeinated Misfit provided from the article on WKOIC some more context about those brick pavers outside the stadium. It said they had 2 dates and 2 dates only to pick up your bricks last month. And the reason they were removing them is they were beyond their lifespan, decaying, etc., and had to be removed for safety. Yeah, so even though they only had those 2 dates, the fact that there were signs, you know, outside right there that said, like, please contact fan services makes me think that maybe they'll still be receptive to some of them for a duration of time. This place has been doing construction the last several times. Cheese. I don't know, I'm butchering the pronunciation every time, but it sounds like they're getting close. Unless they are open already. I don't think they are. Well, it says their hours will be Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to late. And then Sunday, 12 p.m. to late. Looks like out there they're going to have an outdoor to-go window slice place. And right now they're still doing construction on the interior. I can see their menu board is up, kind of like an old school menu look. That'll be cool once they open up. Again, that's the former home of Vincenzo's. Oh. So looking forward to them opening. Let's pass through the 5th Street arcades. It's kind of cool how they're maintaining like an old school vibe. They even got like an old Pizza Hut light lamp there. I like the lamps that are hanging from the upstairs. They've got a lot of people working on that, so that'll be fun to see. Even in here they're working on it. So even though it sucks that Vincenzo's departed, it's nice that another place is coming and seemingly putting, you know, a good amount of effort into their place. And the hours being so wide on there is a good thing too. By the way, you can see me in the reflection of these things. Allocated Brain points out that it's 67 degrees over near Edgewater. When I was leaving for my lunch break, when I checked the weather closer to like the west side of Cleveland, like West 100th area, in that zip code, it was 65 degrees there. But then when I checked downtown here, it said 60, 61, which is why I kept my long pants on, but still went with the short sleeve shirt to balance it out. I'll walk down Euclid. It'll be a bit more lively. Yeah, that Narnia storefront, Coco's. A lot of people have done videos in there. It's a very unique place. Check out their Instagram channel. You can see like some of the things about it. And then yes, there's a Shake Shack at East 6th and Superior. There's construction that started recently outside of the corner alley. I think it's just on the exterior, but it seems to be affecting like the outdoor dining aspect of the restaurant. Chocolate bar location is still vacant. That's one, popular location, so I would expect that to get taken fairly soon, but you never know. Neutron 9 points out that it'll be 70 degrees in Cleveland tomorrow. Yes, indeed. Some good weather. So this looks to be those City Club apartments that are happening down near East 9th. Maybe this is like an office location where you can look at the exterior. Yeah, so this is more of what the design's going to look like. And I'm referring to the building that I showed, earlier near East 9th. So it would be right there. The trees are blocking it, but it had like that orange look on the outside, and I said that's not the finishing look. And I don't know how well you can tell, but it'll be like a kind of a grayish, bluish mixture on the outside with alternating colors, but then you'll have the nice lower level with greenery. Looks like they'll have some nice sidewalk pavements, and then as you get upstairs and further up, you have, I don't know if this will be on the side angle or what angle, but you'll have some unique whooshing colors. I don't know the best way to describe it. And then you've got the rooftop pool that'll be up there. Yeah, let me see if I can get closer to show that pool. And then they're showing a little bit of the interior. This probably would be like the restaurant and bar up on the roof deck where the pool is going to be. And then they also have floor plans if you're interested in getting the apartments. So there's at least 6 different floor plans. So if someone's looking to move back to downtown Cleveland or upgrade their living space, or even downgrade, you never know. Maybe someone is sick of having a house and just wants to live in the heart of downtown Cleveland. Maybe that's worth checking out. Yeah, I may have missed it, but I didn't see the price range listed on the windows. Allocated Brain says that you were reminded about the House of Blues' lack of bicycle parking last week. Yeah, I'm not sure where people even park if they're, say if there's a big crowd coming for the House of Blues. I don't know if they use the parking garage that's kind of like wedged on East 4th, or if they use a valet or what they do. I know the parking garage way back in the day on Superior and East, kind of like East 4th area, so a little bit further this way. If I were to turn right and go a little bit into that parking garage, they had a bike rack in there, and I had parked my bike in there at least twice. Or locked it up, rather. So that wouldn't be too far of a walk from the House of Blues. Okay, we got bus turning. And after this bus, I should be clear to go. I imagine if you looked at the website for City Club Apartments, they probably would list estimated prices. Because I'm sure they're looking to lock in all those tenants already. So we are at Public Square now. They've updated the artwork photo frame that's become a staple over the past year on Public Square. Usually it's like a holiday related theme, but now it's kind of a springtime flower vibe. And unlike the past, like all the other previous ones, at least to my knowledge, were made by an artist named Dave Kreider. But this one is by an artist named Garrett Weeder, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. That's the current photo frame. And at nighttime it's got those little lights on top that help illuminate it. And they've also brought back the CLE with the sports balls located in it, and then the fountain is on too. And you can also see the steam coming from Rebel Cafe. Oh, so Cafe Misfit says the website just says contact for pre-leasing. It doesn't list the prices for the City Club Apartments yet. So I'm sure it's probably a tad taller, but the big notable thing to point out is right there, they've started putting the glass on the corner of the building and lower part. So that's going to be the exterior of the Sherwin-Williams building. You'll see a big glass building in the heart of the landscape. They've also moved these bus stops down a little bit. It says temporary bus stop location due to construction. So I think the old bus stops were located like down here. You can see kind of in the ground where they were removed, like right here. Yeah, so this is where the bus stops would have been. They've shifted them down because construction's moving a little bit further down this way. And last time I was here, you could still cross this intersection, you know, right here, and then you'd have to bow out into the makeshift sidewalk. Now they've extended it over here. Well, there's what I was referring to. May not seem like much of an update, but there you go. You got some of the exterior starting to go up. So I'm sure pretty soon, since that's been worked on, you'll probably see all these other lower levels be covered with the glass. And it may have been there last time, but I don't remember it. They have like the outside elevator shafts. So I'm sure that probably, granted, I know nothing about construction, but in my mind, I'm sure that helps expedite the process of, you know, transporting stuff between floors as opposed to having a a crane or whatever else, get them up there. Oh, so they've completely blocked off this street now too. Okay, so you can't even walk over here if you wanted to. Well, I guess instead of me walking over there right now, I'll point out that restaurant over there, Fahrenheit, which has been under construction. It's going to have like a rooftop. I read that their anticipated opening is going to be July 10th, 2023 for that. So yeah, they've got the fence up. I mean, right now it's open, but obviously I can't walk in there because they're doing the construction. Yeah, so I knew when I was passing by in the bus that they had, this morning, they had the windows here. I see now that there's also windows extending down here. Allocated Brain says the glass was not there last Friday when you were by it, but that the street has been blocked for at least a week now. Also noting that stone exterior is better than glass. Yeah, I mean the Hilton with the glass, the Hilton Hotel in Cleveland near the Mall C, I think looks kind of cool because it's unique for the Cleveland area. Like, at least it looks relatively unique. Like, you don't see any other all glass buildings, but now that you're gonna have two of them, I have, mixed feelings, I guess. But I think the lighting effect that they'll eventually add for nighttime will be pretty cool for the building. Caffeinated Misfit says something tells me Cleveland is about to get expensive like here. Interesting that you mentioned that, because there was someone having a Twitter discussion the other day. And they were noting concerns about, like, oh, our rental prices need to come down. And the theory was that, well, all this construction of new housing in the Cleveland area, in downtown Cleveland, should create like more properties and therefore more supply, and that should actually lower some of the rates, or maybe keep it in line. I'm sure someone with an economics background or real estate background could have more input into how those things typically go. I believe this section is eventually going to be a parking garage or parking lot for Sherwin employees. I know there was some concern over the years when this was being proposed that, like, oh yeah, it's nice that you're moving the Sherwin headquarters here, but there was some fear that they were going to, like, almost make it a campus for Sherwin employees, which would discourage them from on their lunch breaks, for example, going out to nearby local businesses and dining there. I'm sure that's all like political related stuff that gets discussed in these projects. And that was one of the reasons why I believe they were also discussing like the amount of benches and tables that would be outside one of the buildings. I don't know if that was related to the workers or if they were trying to, I think it was because they were initially, maybe they thought it was being accused that Sherwin-Williams was trying to discourage like the homeless population from lingering around by not having benches out there, but then there was advocates saying like, no, curbside appeal, you need benches and other things. I could be totally misrepresenting it. I'm just trying to jog my memory on some articles I've read in the past. So the 55 bus, when it's leaving downtown, it would normally, on its normal route, be like turning from Public Square down that road. And then I think now, because this street's closed on top of it, when it does its detour, not only does it have to go past this street, it goes down to West 6th, then turns back onto West St. Clair, and then from here goes to Lakeside and then makes a left to the highway. And that's because of the sinkhole that is up here on Ontario. I figure not much progress has been made since my last video about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, but we'll pass by it anyway. Perishable Goods 13 says Guardians losing 2-0 in the middle of the second. Yeah, it's not, with offense struggling early in the year, you hate to see any early deficit. Like yesterday, we won, it was 2-0. So very, it puts more pressure on the pitchers to try to be perfect. Got a Simply Fresh Market right here. And then a supermarket. And then Dave's Cosmic Subs. If I had more time, I would stop in Dave's Cosmic Subs and grab a meatball sub. I'm cutting it too close to needing to get back to my meeting. Oh, there actually has been a lot of progress on this. Wow, it looks like this could be opening pretty soon. Because last time we saw it was still a big hole in the ground. Now they've essentially closed it all up. Granted, I don't know what the finishing touches they need to do are, but conceivably it looks like they just need to, whenever they're done doing whatever else, they need to fill this top part, and they could probably get that back open. So that's encouraging. Way more progress than I anticipated seeing. So that'll be nice to get this intersection back open. If you hadn't heard, there was a sinkhole, big sinkhole that developed there on a day or two after St. Patrick's Day. Caffeinated Misfit. Wait a minute, are you saying there's a Dave's Cosmic Subs in Atlanta too? I just assumed that was like a local to Cleveland thing. Maybe that's a semi-national chain. So it originated from Cleveland, and then I don't know, I should go on their website and try to see how much they've expanded in. That's pretty cool that, you know, it started here. Alright, I'm going to try to make good timing and close a loop that I left at the end of my last live stream. I'll talk about it as I'm approaching that area. And let me mix it up too, and I'll walk through the grass here instead of going all the way down to the sidewalk. So last time I did a live stream in April, I ended it at the next patch of green grass. It's not up there, but across the street, because the Huntington Convention Center is underneath us right now. So it's across the street from this area. But I pointed out a farm that is down below. Like, it had some pigs there, and in the past there's been chickens, and there's also just like a little farm-like area. So I know a few users had pointed me in the direction of some information, and I also printed off from the website some context of what that was about. Oh, I printed off 2 sheets of paper, so gotta grab the correct one here. So I'm going to read this from, I think this is from the Tours of Cleveland LLC website, and it was written back in 2018 or 2019. Yeah, 2019 it was written. Cleveland's Urban Farm. It said, did you know that in the heart of downtown Cleveland, several chickens, pigs, and goats all live on their own little farm? It says, you know, it talks about, of course, back in 1796 when the city was founded, this wouldn't be a surprise, but we're talking about present day. It says, just outside the Huntington Convention Center, across from the railroads and across from First Energy Stadium, you'll find the urban farm owned by Levi Restaurants. They are the food service providers for the convention center. The farm began with some bees that produced honey, but has expanded to include pigs, chickens, goats, and plants grown in raised beds. So we'll get there probably like in the next minute once we cross the street and go over there, and I'll show it again. And before I continue reading, let me keep my eyes on the road here. It says the farm is part of the sustainability efforts by the convention center. The pigs help by eating some of the food scraps produced by convention center guests. So if you're at the convention center and you're like, I don't want some of this food, and you just like throw it away, or maybe uneaten food that's left over, the pigs help by eating it and consuming it themselves. And then it says the chickens produce about a quarter of the eggs used at the convention center. And then the 13 beehives have produced over 2,000 pounds of honey. So forgive me that it's a little redundant that we're going to be ending the stream for the second month in a row at the same location, but I left last time as a cliffhanger, like, what's the background of this and who's operating the farm? So that helps fill in the blanks. I actually won't end it with just showing the farm. I'll mention one other thing. here is the farm right below here. Let's see if we can see any of the animals. Or you can actually see one person working, or several people working right now down there. These are probably where the bees are. Now that I know that they do bee related things, because those look like, you know, how they're probably inside, and you pull out the shelves. Not sure where the chickens are, but and I don't see the pigs at the moment. But last time I was here doing the video, the pigs were all like hovered in that area there. Yeah, so that's just some pretty cool nugget about downtown Cleveland. I think it'd be neat, like, if a tourist came here and was really curious about, like, oh, what are some cool and interesting things about the city? You know, if they were enjoying the beautification of this whole greenery and the views, and say you were almost like their personal tour guide, it'd be fun to, like, say, hey, did you know there's like a little farm down there, and be able to explain some of the context related to it. But yeah, the last thing I was going to mention was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame actually came out with some blueprints of their proposed expansion. Like, I think they're going to build like a lot more over here and have it quite a unique look. I didn't read up a ton on that, but I'm still planning on doing something where maybe instead of going out, I'll do a live stream from my computer and almost have like a series of blueprints and projects listed from these websites, because there's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing, there's the construction by Tower City, there's the Irish Bentown Park, there's even the more proposals for the land bridge that would potentially, like, somehow they would do construction and keep the highway, I think, but like build an entire land bridge from here over beyond the highway, and then continue development by the lakefront, specifically in that area. I still am like hesitant to put any weight into that type of project, because we've seen proposals for like 20 years and, you know, they usually end up not happening. But I will say that the current mayor administration, current status of things almost makes it sound like there's a more serious push to try to, you know, get something like that going. But even if it does get going, it's not like you're going to see that in like present day. It's going to be like a long time before it actually comes to fruition. But anyway, I'm going to got like 19 minutes or 18 minutes now to head back to work for my meeting. I think I'll make it fine time. I'm a fast walker, especially when I'm not filming. But if you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you next time. Hopefully we got some more video ideas coming around the Cleveland area in the coming 2 weeks or so.